Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Hello, and welcome to the Artist Pivot Podcast. On today's episode, I am joined by Pia Leichter, creative partner, author, and creative coach, for a conversation about embracing pivots, unleashing creativity, and designing life as your biggest art project. Pia shares her journey from New York City to Copenhagen and transition from a decade-long agency career to entrepreneurship by finally listening to that little voice nudging her towards something bigger. We debunked the myth that we're supposed to have it all together by a certain age, because that doesn't leave room to grow or cultivate new experiences. You'll hear some beautiful reflections on navigating loss, the courage it takes to make big life pivots, and practical wisdom for artists and creatives striving to bloom within the realities of life. Pia also discusses her book, Welcome to the Creative Club, Make Life Your Biggest Art Project, and shares why she believes every leap of faith can spark lasting transformation. Pia invites us to challenge our own notions of security, trust the process, and find joy in not knowing what's next. Get ready to dive into a conversation that's equal parts practical, philosophical, and deeply nurturing for the creative soul. All right, let's get into it. Joining me is creative partner, author, and creative coach, Pia Leichter. Let your inner artist play, creating your dreams step by step every day. If you're feeling lost and don't know what to do, always remember that you can pivot to the artist pivot. The artist pivot. We Audition is the video chat community where actors can audition, self-tape, rehearse, and get expert industry advice. Get instant self-tape readers through video chat, browse through the dedicated actor meditations, podcasts, and books, meet casting directors in the virtual green room, and also make money by becoming a reader for other actors. If you join We Audition and use code PIVOT, you will receive a 25% discount on your membership. Yes, that's right. We Audition and the Artist Pivot have partnered to bring you this discount. From my own experience, I love being a reader for other actors, and We Audition is so convenient for me when I need a reader myself. Again, if you join We Audition and use the code PIVOT, you will receive 25% off your membership. Link in the show notes. All right, y'all. So today on the podcast, I am very elated to say that joining me is creative partner, author, and creative coach, Pia Leichter. Hey, Pia, how you doing?
I'm good. It's so nice to be here. Thanks for having me.
You're so very welcome. You're so very welcome. I'm going to start with my two favorite questions. Number one, how are your hydration levels today? Have you had enough water? And number two, oh yes, if y'all can't see, she just brought her water cup into the camera view.
And I live in Copenhagen, though I'm from New York City originally.
Yeah.
And people call this my American cup. Because this is a huge size. You're like, what are you? I'm like, it's my emotional support water bottle, all right? It comes with me wherever I go.
Exactly. Wait, they call it the American water bottle. So, like, have you not found water bottles that size in Copenhagen?
Well, they're coming now with the Stanley.
Yep.
So I have a stepdaughter, she's 11. She's like, the Stanley. And I'm like, oh, why? It's Instagram. I don't know. It's real. Something's going on where the Stanley is just where it's at. It's like crazy. So it's starting to come, but most people think it's an absurdly sized water bottle. So I am very well hydrated.
Oh, good. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I'm happy for that. And you're like, it could be absurdly sized, but I have my water intake for the day. Like, how are you doing? Don't judge me. I'm drinking my water. Okay. Thanks so much. Hydrated, okay? My hair, my water, and skin, okay? I'm hydrated. So
I'm glowing.
Right? I'm glowing.
And I'm going to the bathroom frequently.
all the time.
Same.
All the time.
Same. I'm not fun to go on a road trip with.
Me neither. Oh my goodness. When me and my sister go to the airport or anything, she'll always look at me and be like, you have to go to the bathroom? I'm like, no, I'm fine. And then she just stares at me and waits. And I go, yeah, I should go pee, shouldn't I? She's like, yes.
I'm right there with you. Right there with you.
Yes. But I'm like, you know what? I'm drinking my water, so leave me alone. Leave me alone.
We need it, especially before you go on a plane.
Especially before you go on a plane. Absolutely. I love that. I love this for you. And my second question would be, if I texted you and was like, Pia, how you doing? How's your day? How you feeling? But you could only respond in emojis only, what would you text me?
Chef's kiss.
Ooh.
Chef's kiss, because I am going to Bali tomorrow to celebrate my birthday. And it's a big birthday. So I'm starting to feel that nervous excitement before a trip. It's like, imagining the rainforest or whatever, the surfing lessons, whatever I'm going into. I'm just imagining it and feeling like,
yes.
This is tasty. Ooh. This is tasty. This is good. So I'm feeling it.
Oh, yeah. I'm so excited for you. I'm so happy. Bali. Yes. Bali's on my list. The closest I've been is Thailand, but I got to get to Bali.
Same. It's been on my bucket list for a long time. And so I thought like, what would be the best birthday gift I could give myself? And it was like, oh, Bali. Yes. That would be it. That would be it. And so I've also been to Thailand. I haven't been to Indonesia yet. So it's a first time. I love first times. I think as we get older, it's so important to have more first times.
Yes.
So that's part of my intention of like, getting older, but I still have a lot of firsts I haven't done before. Do you know what I mean? And this is starting with Bali and starting with learning how to surf. I've never done that. Maybe I'll not enjoy it. Maybe I'll love it. I have no idea, but I'm going to try it because I haven't tried it before.
Right. You're going to try it. I love that so much. Like, first time. Let's try it. I may love it. I may hate it. I may be indifferent.
Exactly.
But I can say I've tried it, right? Oh, I love that. I love that for you. Yes. Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And enjoy Bali. Ooh, I'm so excited for you.
Thank you. I'm excited too. Maybe I'll send you a picture.
Yes, please. I'll soak it in. I'm like, oh, Bali. Yes.
I'll send you the energy of Bali.
Oh, I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Yes. Y'all, okay. So I'm excited to talk to Pia, y'all, about her creative journey, right? And how she got to where she got to. I know it wasn't easy, right? And you're still building, creating your life as we all are. You know, the myth that you have it together at some age is literally what that is, a myth. Right. And creating and designing your life. And thank you. I have to shout out her book, y'all. Thank you for sending me a copy. I have gotten about halfway through. I'm not going to say any spoilers, y'all, but we'll talk about that as well. But Pia, I want to ask you, in this creative journey that you've been on, like, what has been, I guess, the biggest challenge, right? But we could also start at the beginning. Like, you can dive into however much you want to tell of how you got started. But what has been like the biggest hurdle you've had to get over? Like the biggest pivot? And I know I'm throwing that at you at the top of the interview, but
it's good. The biggest. Okay, so one of the biggest pivots, I've had quite a few.
Yeah.
But one of the biggest pivots, I think, was leaving my agency job when I worked as a creative director and a copywriter, because I had been doing it for well over a decade. And it felt rewarding on many fronts still, but it also felt very safe and comfortable and like I knew it. I knew what it was going to be. I knew where the ceiling was. I knew where the walls were, the floor was. It started to feel limiting. And I remember, at night hearing this little voice whispering like, hey, what would happen if you channeled your creativity into building your own damn thing? Poking me. And I'm like, yeah, but I don't even know what that would be. I don't even know what it would look like. I don't even know what I do. And so the fear would come up and I would just kind of not listen to the voice, leave it alone, kind of fall back into work.
Yeah.
And so there was a pivot. So that, to me, it felt like the pivot was calling.
Yes.
And I just wasn't picking up.
Yes. You were sending it to voicemail.
Exactly. You can just leave a message and maybe I'll get back to you at some point.
Yes.
And some things started to change around this time. I got introduced to coaching, which is very much the art of transformation, while I was still at the agency. And I thought it was fascinating because it was a totally different way of facilitating and holding space and listening and interacting than where I came from as like a consultant, creative consultant, if you will. Yeah. And so a new world started to open up of like different possibilities, different ways of doing things, new first times, having a beginner's mind, like learning again, and the excitement of that.
Yeah.
And really feeling like through conversation and deep dives, I'm co-creating, but in a very different way. And I remember getting really like lit up, like, ooh, this is interesting. And it turns out it really fed into my creative work as well in terms of how I approached co-creating and creating overall, which is fascinating. I wasn't expecting it.
Right.
So this was all going on. And then my mother passed away suddenly in 2021. She was in Mexico at the time. There was COVID. I wasn't vaccinated. And I got a call saying, she had a stroke. She said, you have to come now.
Wow. Okay.
And I went and I walked her home. And besides being one of the most heart-shattering things I've ever gone through, she gave me a passing gift of courage because I came really close to death. Yeah. I never experienced death close to me before in that way, especially like a parent is just, I don't know, it feels as close as it's going to get. I mean, So it was a reminder that this life is finite. This is a limited series. And we all have a hidden expiration date. The universe has a dark sense of humor,
Yes.
Don't know where you are or when you go, how long this is going to last, or, but hey, knock yourself out. So
Right.
So it was just really a reminder, like, if not now, when? So I came home a mess. And after I had a couple of months of just being, I decided not to go back to that agency job.
Yeah.
And to quit and to listen to that voice, to pick up. So when it called, I'm like, okay, it's one life. It's now or never. Like, let's do this. Let's see what happens if we just jump and we try. And we try to build this thing. And I don't even know what this thing looks like yet. And that was a really important lesson. Like, if I waited to know, I'd be waiting a long time. And that applies to a lot of my creations, right? Like, also for my book. So I think that was a huge pivot for me to move from being salaried to entrepreneurship. And it's really interesting. I heard on a podcast, it really stayed with me. It's a gentleman was talking about uncertainty, and he said, human beings, the most two addictive substances for human beings is heroin and a salary.
I'm like, well, he's not wrong.
Right? No, it was the phrasing was very interesting. Like, its salary can feel like safety, and it is in many ways. It's a reoccurring, I know I'm going to get paid and I'm going to be able to survive. And, it becomes so addictive that we can end up trading a lot of our lives for it. At least I'll speak for myself. That starts happening where, I don't have time to do the other creative things I want to do, or I take less risks, especially as I got older. And my mom's passing was just like, poof, that's it.
Right.
It's now. Right. I mean, what do you have to lose when you're going to lose it all one day anyway?
Ooh, right. That question, right.
that question. And it was like nothing, because I saw that you take nothing with you. Absolutely nothing. So what am I holding on to while I'm here? While I'm here, I want to make sure that I feel alive, that I'm living, right? I think that's worse than death, is to not be really fully alive while we have the chance to live. And I wasn't feeling fully alive. I was feeling safe. I was feeling comfortable. I was feeling somewhat, and I think that's also the thing. Like, it wasn't horrible. If it was horrible, it would have been easier, right? To leave. It was okay. It was good enough, and good enough can really keep us stuck.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Good enough. That settling for good enough will definitely keep people stuck and wondering what if, right? Well, what if, and then this, and then, but like you said, that salary, I understand how that can keep people, right? Like, I have been piecemealing money together my whole career, right? Like, the only time I've had a salary was when I was a performer on a cruise ship, right? I knew, okay, for this year, I'm getting paid. But then I knew the next year, I don't know what's going to happen, right? Like, I've never been salaried. And so I'm like, I see it from the outside, right? Like, I understand, okay, great. But I've always, honey, month by month, I got to piece this thing together, right? Because I also like this freedom in my life. I like to be able to create and move and travel when I want to, right? But then that kind of cost me the certainty. I put that in quotation marks because nothing is certain, right? But the certainty that some people live off of, right? And stand on with a salary.
So it's so interesting, because what I discovered when I started moving into building my own thing was that the real lesson in entrepreneurship that I was learning was how to be in relationship with life, how to be in relationship with uncertainty, because life is uncertain.
Yes.
Full stop. Salaried or not, you can get fired the next day. Anything can happen at any point in time. Anything.
Yep.
So there is no real, there's an illusion of security, but it's just that, right?
Yes.
And so I think real freedom lives in building our capacity to be in uncertainty, to be in relationship with life. For me, that looks like moving towards trust. Like, okay, I trust that I'm going to be okay, that life's got my back, I got my back, we can do this. And it's a lifelong practice. I mean, you've been at it for a while, so your muscle must be really big. But I mean, for me, in the beginning, the first couple of years, anxiety was present. It was like, I don't know when the money's coming in. I don't know when the next project's coming in. I don't know what this looks like. And then I'd get, the wobbles, like, woo. Yes. And I can tell you, almost 4 years later, I'm feeling, I don't have many wobbles. I'm in a different space because I've been building the muscle. That doesn't mean I don't get worried every now and again, or not worried, a little bit of like, don't know what pipeline looks like. Right, but then let's see. Let's get curious. What if I lean back a little bit and trust and see what's also coming my way, instead of chasing, gripping, trying to control? Because that's just me trying to create certainty again when it doesn't exist. So I have to catch myself. I think it's very human, and just to normalize it. But there's tremendous fulfillment and freedom on the side of I don't know.
Right. And being comfortable and okay with that, right? Yes. Because I think, and I literally was having this conversation with someone, I think it was yesterday, that it's like, especially our parents, like, I have boomer parents and I love them, right? But my life doesn't look like yours. I don't move in the way that you were taught, right? That you then tried to pass down to me. No, this is not the get married, buy a house, have this many kids. I've never wanted that, right? Like, and being okay with, well, I don't know the answer. Well, what's next? I don't know. And being okay with that, right? But unfortunately, I think a lot of us were taught, you kind of have to know, you should know. And it's like, no, but that's kind of impossible, because if life is uncertain, and if I'm supposed to be co-creating, then I actually don't know.
Exactly. And I think when we live in that not knowing, we're in a realm of possibility. Like infinite possibilities live in I don't know. When you know, it's a very fixed place to be. There's a single outcome. And that's it.
Yes.
And
Yes.
so I just think for me, also, I'd rather sit at a dinner party next to someone who doesn't know
Yes.
than next to someone who knows. For
Yes.
sure, 100%. Because that's an open door. That's like, oh, I don't know. Let's look at that. Oh, I don't know what that could be. Or I don't, it's when you know, you're closed to possibilities because you know, right? Like I know, I don't need anyone to tell me. I know. To me, that feels like a very closed place. Also for creativity, it's a very closed. I mean, creativity also requires not knowing. Whenever we're about to create something, we don't know the outcome of what we're going to create beforehand. That's not part of the process, right? I mean, it's about surrendering to, this is fun. Let's play. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe it would become something bigger than, or something different than I thought it would be. And it definitely, for me, it always has become something different than I thought it would be. And I think that's the magic. That's the excitement.
Yeah.
That's the thrill of it.
Of not knowing. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yes. I 100% agree. And so then my question to you would be, have you always viewed life from this lens of like, I don't know, but let me sit in it and find out, right? Because you said you were at an agency, right? So then before you got the agency job, were you ignoring the creative voice and was like, nah, I'm going to this agency? And then life hit you in the head and was like, girl, what you finna do?
Well, I'll just take a step back.
Yeah, of
it's
course.
really interesting from what you did, how you just described your boomer parents and, how your life looks very different. I actually kind of had the opposite in the sense where my dad's an abstract painter. He's an artist.
Yeah.
That's what he's done his whole life. So I've seen him try to scotch tape together financially every month. And he, dealt blackjack for the mob in New York City. He was a carriage buggy driver in Central Park. He worked for the Metropolitan Museum of Art as a security guard. He was a merchant marine. He did whatever he could do that allowed him to do his art.
Yeah.
And I witnessed that growing up.
Yeah.
And my mother, also single parent, we lived in Brooklyn, got her education much later, worked in the restaurant business industry, and then much later on in life reconnected to her creativity, working in sculpture and doing different things. But it was, it wasn't an easy, financially, like, it wasn't an easy life, right? To witness, to be part of. So, I also had some of that scarcity thinking in my upbringing. I remember I used to order the cheapest thing on the menu because I knew my parents didn't have that much. I wasn't gonna, I was very conscious of it.
Yeah.
So I think that gave me the opposite impulse or effect. Like, oh, I don't want that.
I don't want that. Yes.
So the thought of just being creative or just being a writer and having to depend on my income, to have my income rely on my art felt really, I was about to curse, really terrifying.
You can curse.
Okay, because it felt really fucking terrifying.
Yep.
That was the feeling, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And so that led me into a direction of, okay, how can I still work in something creative, but also have financial security? And that kind of led me into the realm of commercial creativity, if you will.
Yes. Okay.
And so it took a while for me to start to become aware of the stories that were the scripts that were running in my head. Yeah. How they might have served me at one point, but how they started to limit me. And it took me some time.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it took me to leaving that whole big pivot. And then when another pivot sort of came along a couple of years later, and a hybrid publisher reached out to me, great salesman, also good founder, but and he said, have you ever thought of writing a book? And I think every single one of us has a book inside of us. Yes. Maybe not every single one of us will write it, but we have it. And then I was like, confronted with, could I do this? It's a big investment on many levels. And what is it going to be? I don't know what I'd write about. Yes. What is it? And I had like a big wobble, but it lasted 24 hours. And this was really cool. My wobble before in the last pivot was much longer. Yeah. There was a lot of other things going on emotionally, but it felt a lot scarier. I'm being on the precipice. I'm like, fear was loud. And after building the muscle a bit more and kind of seeing that I didn't die when I did it, and actually life was pretty fulfilling, even if it was highly uncertain, it was exciting and I felt alive. And it was bringing me all these things I never could have imagined. Yeah. So then when the book came, it felt a little easier. And I thought that was a beautiful insight that, sometimes the first time we pivot or that first jump can feel really terrifying, thrilling and terrifying at the same time. It's the sweet and sour sauce,
Yep.
But the next ones get a little easier. Yeah, because we've been doing it and we're creating evidence for ourselves.
That we're creating evidence. Oh no, I can do it. I survived the last one. The last one was great. Okay, I'm a little scared, but I can do it again because I have evidence that it worked out the last time.
Exactly. And I want to create evidence that I can succeed and live an abundant life without pushing, without worrying, without trying to control, and that it can be ease-filled. Not easy, but like ease-filled. I want to create evidence for that because I've created a lot of evidence that I succeed when I throw my back into it, when I give it everything I have, when it's blood, sweat, and tears, when I push, when I force. That's not only my story, it's part of our Western cultural story.
Yes.
I want to rewrite that script and show myself that no, you can build differently. You can create with a different energy and still be wild. Actually, probably be even more successful because the success is that I'm enjoying the process of creating. Right? Yes. And so that's what I'm in the process of creating evidence for. And I'm still creating that evidence, that ease filled because there are things within me that I need to, I don't know if the word is manage, but be aware of and then be kind to when it comes up and be like, oh, you overdid it again. That's all right. Tomorrow's a new day. We're gonna try again. So it's because it's an old programming, Right. It takes time to rewire.
Yes, it does. It took time to learn it and it's going to take time to unlearn it, right? And not beating yourself up for not unlearning it magically, right? Like at the drop of a hat. Oh, I have to unlearn. Okay, but if you've been operating in that for 30 some odd years and you think in a month you're about to turn off that switch, oh, that's not how that happens. I'm sorry to tell you, that's not how that happens.
Exactly. And I think this is going to be a practice like for the rest of my life.
Yeah.
Just deeper and deeper layers of, look how juicy and ease-filled this can be. This is fantastic. Because there's there's the unlearning and then a relearning that's happening. And that sounds wonderful to me.
Right.
So it's about accepting that that's just a practice. There's no destination. I'm not just going to get there one day and, oh, look at me, I'm ease-filled and everything. It's going to be deeper layers of it, and accepting that feel. Exactly. And accepting that feels good because that destination thinking is also part of the old.
Yes, the old matrix, if you will, or narrative or ideas that we were all fed, right?
Totally.
At least I can say, at least for the people around me, my friends and colleagues, a friend of like, yeah, we were fed this idea of a destination, right? But actually the journey, if you will, is the destination, right? Enjoying life, first of all, and creating, right? And it's like, oh, what am I learning? Or what is it giving me on this journey, right? And undoing things and ease-filled. Like, I love that too. Like, I talked to my therapist about that. She's like, it can be easy. That, right? Like, I know that's counter to what you've been taught, but it can be easy. It can be joy-filled. It can be peaceful. It can be something you love. That white knuckle gripping that we do is like, your nervous system really doesn't like that. We should stop that.
Yeah, or our nervous systems have got so used to that feels like safety.
Correct.
And that's the unlearning we have to do. Like, oh no, like I'm teaching myself. I feel safe. Because of my past, I feel safe in movement.
Yeah.
I've also moved around my life. In my life, I grew up in New York City as a movement kind of place.
We move all the time,
right? Yes. It's like, what next? What? And I'm teaching myself how to feel safe in stillness.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be a life. That's gonna be another life practice of just because when we slow down, we have to feel ourselves in it. Like, ooh, what's happening? What's here? What's happening? Okay, this is all right. Let me listen to that and listen to my body, give myself what I need, or feel this emotion that's come up, process it, how to just run through and, slow it down. Trust that I can slow it down and still create. And still, for me, it's like actualizing my creative potential that pushes me, because I feel like we all have, there's so much within us, that possibility of what we can create in our lives and in this world. I just want to make sure that I give myself the space and the grace to be able to do that.
Yes. And nobody can do it but you, right?
No.
Like, you have to give yourself permission to slow down, to trust, and to understand that it's like, that's where my creativity comes from, is me slowing down, trusting, listening to my inner voice, those sparks of ideas. Oh, what about this? What if I da-da-da-da-da? Yes, actually. Write it down, right? And then don't say no to yourself. I've had to learn that. Oh, I had what about da-da-da? And then you're like, oh, but what about this? And then that, and then this. It's like, but you didn't even try, and you've already told yourself no, right?
Absolutely. And I think that's where, for me, fun, some people don't like that word. They think it's frivolous, but I love fun. Like, let's have fun with it, Yes. Like, I'm working on, there's some poetry in my book, and so I'm taking the 11 poems from my book, and I just serendipitously met with a music producer, and he's creating tracks for each poem. And it's been so fun to co-create and like to give like a brief on the music. This is how I sense this, the feeling and the sound of this, and this is what, but then of course take it and run with it. It's just my like initial small debrief. And then to hear his creative take, like how he sees it and how it touches him and how he interprets that through sound. And then to have both of our creative perspectives come together to create something brand new. It's not even mine. It's not mine anymore. It's like ours. It's something else. Has been so much fun that I honestly don't really care about the outcome as much. Like, of course, I would like I would like it to get out into the world, but I'm not expecting it to top the Billboard charts.
Right.
But it's been so much, the process of creating it has been so joyful. It's been really like, whoa, that I love that beat. That's awesome. That's just like and I think remembering that for me is super helpful for enjoying it all, because it's really being in, I know many people say trust the process, or just enjoy the process, romance the process, flirt with the process, like just like have fun in it, like just enjoy it. Then whatever it will be, whatever happens is whatever, it doesn't really matter as much anymore, because you've made it so enjoyable. You've released attachment to any kind of outcome. And I think that's where creativity really runs loose and wild, because it's just about the art of making it together or alone. Usually it happens in collaboration for me, but yeah.
Understood. I completely agree with that, right? Like letting go of outcomes and just, okay, let me have fun. But I love that romanticizing it, right? Like even romanticizing life as well. Like I'm like, oh, I can't wait to make my coffee in the morning.
Exactly.
Oh, I bought a new little thing to foam my milk. I'm like, oh, I'm excited to do that tomorrow, right? Like
I'm excited about that too. I bought that same thing. Just like I for my matcha latte, and I'm like, oh, look at that, a foam.
Okay,
I know, I love it.
I'm fancy now. I foam my milk.
Exactly. And then I take a moment just to sit with my frothy matcha latte and just enjoy. And I think we can forget, or at least I forgot to enjoy, because I got so fixed on what I needed to get to, or that next place will give me that feeling I'm really after. It's just beyond, it's like
just around the corner.
Exactly. It's that Annie song, this sun will come out tomorrow. Tomorrow there'll be sun. It's always future focused. And that means I'm not really in the present. I'm not here. I keep thinking what I want and need is somewhere out there, when the only place that it exists is right here. And if I don't give that to myself now, I won't have it later. And I tell myself that over and over again. That's how I break that story or that script. Like, hey, if I don't learn how to give that to myself now, it's not coming later. There's no around the mountain tomorrow, sun's coming. No, it's here or it's not.
Right. Precisely.
And I find that helpful for me, because then I'm like, okay, well, I better romance the hell out of this moment right here, because this is all I got.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Because you're like, tomorrow's not promised. So right now, I'm going to enjoy this moment. I'm going to enjoy it. And also, I think it's, again, trusting that what I need in the next moment will be there. What I need tomorrow will be there. Tomorrow will worry about itself. If I'm blessed to be in tomorrow, great. Great. I have to trust that tomorrow I'm going to be provided for. So be in this moment right now.
Oh, I got the chills twice when you said that. That is so beautiful. And that resonates so deeply with me. It's just trust and letting go and just allowing and trusting that your future self has got you.
Yes.
As well, right?
Yes. Your future self has you. I do that. Both me and my co-chair of a artistic guidance program that I run, we both are like, what would our future self thank you for? So when we're talking to our, we call them boosters, what would your future self thank you for? Would they thank you for sending that email? Would they thank you for putting away your laundry? Would they thank you for even things like that? Like I've come home and been like, thank you last Friday, Ayana, for doing the laundry and cleaning your bathroom. Literally, I'm like, thank you so much because today me is so thank you. Thank you, Pastor Ayana.
That's a lovely practice because, I mean, that's also doing sometimes the hard things now, but that have meaning for you, right?
Yeah.
Is what your future self will also thank you for. And I also thank myself when I did something that might have been a bit difficult that my current self can enjoy or bask in. Oh, thank you for doing that. That was fantastic. Yes. And the other thing about the future self is I like to visualize her. How she moves, what she's wearing, what perfume is she wearing, what kind of energy does she have, where is she, what is she looking out at, what is she proud of, all of it. Just really get into her, and then I like to merge with her, merge, and I really can see her, and when I connect to that energy, it feels really grounding. It feels like feels bigger than me. Feels like timelines are converging.
They're converging. Yes.
Multiple timelines, but I'm looking at that one.
Right. That's the one I'm looking at. I want to merge with that one. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Understood. Yes. And so speaking of timelines, I want to get into kind of the timeline of your book, right? And so, you were told, hey, I think you should write a book. And you're like, well, what am I writing? What am I writing about, right?
Exactly.
So then how did that unfold of going, okay, I think this is what I'm going to write my book about. And then you wrote it. And then it got published. So walk me through that creative process as well. Because I've been told, Ayana, you should write a book. And I'm like, okay, what about? Because I did write one, but it's kind of, I don't want to say irrelevant now, but it was more about specifically auditioning in New York City as a musical theater actress prior to the pandemic. And I'm like, yeah, that's not very relevant now. So, but I'd probably take pieces from it, right?
Yeah, I was just going to say that's what's really interesting. One thing that I wasn't aware of, and this will relate back to the pieces part.
Yep.
About a year and a half before I got the call for my book, I had this kind of download or drop in about, hey, you need to start a newsletter. You need to write longer form, not just be on social media and create a deeper conversation. Once again, what am I writing about? I don't know. Just show up to the page, right? And just see what comes through. Just see what comes through. And for me, what's really helped my inner saboteur or critic is that when I first sit down to draft, right? Yeah. This is pure play. This gets to suck. This doesn't have to be perfect. This does not have to be a masterpiece. This is just me showing up. You can come back later. You can come back in the editing round. That's when you are so welcome, but not here. This is not your time, not your space. And I have to remind myself of that when I show up, because that voice can come in. It's like, oh, that sentence wasn't. And it's like, it's not your time.
Not your turn. Wait your turn.
Not your turn. Exactly. You come back later, and that allows it to flow, because that would stop me. That would junk me up right away if that voice keeps. If I allow it space when I'm in kind of that early just drafting, creating, sketching. Let's see what this could be phase. So I had to wrestle that voice quite a bit when I was getting started.
Yeah.
So anyway, I did my newsletter and I showed up every week and I sent something out every week. Again, I didn't know why. It was just something that called me. And then when I did start to think about like, okay, what's the positioning statement? What do I want to how do I want to position this book? First of all, just to answer your question, this hybrid publisher, there's like a sprint. So they design a process and you get paired with editors for every, so you have a developmental editor that helps you get into the heart and like the bones of your story and will just be there for you as you write and you hand something in. And then they'll give feedback, which help me become a better writer for the next chapter. So it's kind of, it's more about like things that help you that you can take with you as you continue to write, but it's more developmental than it is structural or, getting into the nitty gritty of it. But what I discovered was, lo and behold, what I had been writing about, what I kept being drawn to week after week were the themes that I was going to write my book about.
Okay.
So I didn't know that when I started the newsletter project. And that's why, again, trust comes in. Like sometimes something is calling you, like something is asking to be created. There might be a project and maybe it doesn't make quote unquote sense in the moment. It doesn't matter. If you're getting the call, there's a reason.
Yes.
So I would invite people to answer the call, even if it doesn't seem to make sense in the moment, because at some point it does. It will. The dots usually connect. And for me, that was a big like, aha, like, whoo, thanking my past self once again, right?
Boom. Yes.
For picking up the phone and doing the thing, even though I didn't know where it would take me, what exactly it was. I just showed up. And it helped me also as a writer, because I'm writing every week, right?
Yeah.
And so that was cool. So my point was back to your pieces. Like I believe that everything you do in some way informs your next creation.
Yeah.
Right? Like it might look different and it's going to be, but it's there, it's alive, and it's there for a reason. It's going to breathe into whatever it is you're going to create next. Because that sounds like it's very much a part of your own creative writing process, like that. And then, whatever comes next, I'm sure there'll be threads. That stitch into the next thing in whatever way, that shape or form that might look like. So I just felt like sharing all that background because those were insights that felt important to me and created more evidence that I can trust.
Oh, yes.
And to keep following those. So when I get an urge, or just like with this music opportunity, things just kind of connected and came out of the blue. And I was like, oh, why don't we try this? And I was like, okay, let's see how it feels. Did 4? Oh, this feels really fun for both of us. Let's do more. And then we ended up doing the whole album of 11 songs. Yeah. And so it's kind of just following the desire.
Right. Yeah.
Following that creative nudge, that creative pull, and doing it also just to enjoy it and to be open to where it might take you.
Right. Right. And yes, being open to where it might take you, right? And, okay, well, let's go in this direction and let's go in that direction. Yeah. And, okay, let's just go with it. Again, there's not being concerned with the outcome, right? But being concerned with the journey of it. Well, you know what? Let's see. Why not?
Exactly. And when I was in the beginning trying to write the book, I really wanted to know what I was going to write about. Like I wanted. Of course
you did. Why wouldn't you?
Right? I wanted it to be really clear. It felt really uncomfortable, and it felt really like why don't I know? I want the outline of the whole book right away. Like and I was kind of forcing. And then it was only when I let up and got out of my own way. And I said, I don't know what book I'm going to write, but I'm just going to allow the book to write itself. When I got out of my own way, then the book started to emerge. The book I was meant to write started to emerge. Right, yeah. And I share vulnerable stories about how I lost and found my creative power. That wasn't my intention necessarily when I started out, but it felt, I don't really like this word, but I can't find a better one. It felt honest to me in a way. Like I really appreciate when people show me how they did something rather than tell me how to do it.
Yeah.
It's the rebel in me. Don't tell me how to do it. But you can show me how, and then maybe there's something that resonates in your story, and maybe there's some part of me I might recognize in the story, and then there might be something I can try or play with, or maybe that vulnerability creates a connection, because even if we don't go through the same things, there's some universality of our experience as a human on this rock that connect us. So yeah, but I had to get out of my way, and I had to let go of what I thought the book needed to do for me, what I thought it needed to be, wanting to know the answers, which again, I think it's just very human. It's okay. Like we want, our brains are wired for certainty.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes, they are. And that's what we're battling against, right? Like, yes, my brain is wired for certainty, but everything is uncertain.
Yeah.
Even our creativity is actually uncertain, right? But there's actually joy in that, right?
Totally.
Like finding the joy, and like, again, like you keep saying, I think I'm going to make it the title of the episode, like creating the evidence, so that let it flow. I got evidence that it's going to work out. But again, I don't know how, I don't know the outcome, but I got evidence that it's worked out before, so I can do it again.
Exactly. And I think that's how we override the certainty wiring, because then the rational mind has no argument.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that also works for intuition. If you write down whenever you have intuitive hits, and they usually don't make sense at the time.
Yeah.
In retrospect, they do. And then you start creating evidence for your rational mind to say, no, we can trust this feeling. You see?
Right.
It made sense here and here and here and here. But it takes time. It needs to be an experiment that we run, and we just note, right, I was supposed to turn left instead of right. I don't know why, but I did it. Oh, well, whatever. I'm just making stuff up. But it's the evidence. So that's how we, I don't know if it's I don't want to say bypass, but that's how we sort of rewire or allow the thinking rational mind to feel more safe in uncertainty, because we've created evidence that we will survive and we will also thrive.
Okay. That part, we will also thrive. That part right there.
Yes.
And I think it's letting, the vision that just came to mind was kind of like being in a court of law, or even in like a boardroom, where that part of the mind like stands up and is like, wait, but hold on. And then evidence is like, but friends, I got proof. Please sit down. And then it's like, okay, I'll sit down. Okay, great.
I love that so much. I love that image. It's totally that. And the mind is that judge as well, sitting on sitting on its high horse chair. And then we're able to say, nope, you see, you can't refute the evidence, honey. So that's that. Exactly. That's really powerful. But that's where, when it comes to pivoting, that's why I think it's so important to take that first leap of faith. Requires faith. That's why it's called leap of faith. You're not going to have evidence. You're not going to have evidence. But that's your first step. To creating it, to showing that when I pivot, when I go right because it's really calling me, and I don't know what it will be, but it feels like, this is something I'm yearning to explore. It's a desire that's mine for a reason. And I got this one life, and I'm going to go after it because it makes me feel scared, but also very alive and thrilled.
Yes.
Thrilling.
Yes.
You know?
Absolutely.
And doing that, that's the doorway. That's a threshold we have to cross. That's a door we have to open.
Yes.
And we don't have to do it alone. And that's why I love your podcast so much, because you're sharing stories of evidence of pivots and all the different ways that they can unfold. Not that it always leads to some mastery or success, but that it makes us feel alive. It takes us to places we never could have imagined.
Yep.
And maybe that first pivot takes you someplace else, which takes you someplace else. And maybe that's all life is when you allow it.
Yes. Absolutely. And we also over prepare for pivots and changes, right? Like, again, my therapist, chef's kiss to her, she is like, we get all prepared, right? We put on our parachute. We get ready. We have our survival kit on our back. We're ready. Okay, I'm going to take the leap. And we jump, and we realize it was only a 2-inch sidewalk. It wasn't a mountain we were leaping off. And you were like, that's it? I just jumped off the sidewalk? Oh, I should have done this years ago. But our brains are like, oh, I got to do this. And we have the survival kit on our back.
Totally.
No, child, just a 2-inch sidewalk. That's it. We got our nervous system all in a tizzy for a 2-inch sidewalk.
Panties in a twist.
Twist. In a bunch.
I think it's because the anticipation is worse than the actual doing of the thing.
Precisely.
Right? So that's what we're trying to avoid is this thing, but we're creating more suffering through all that prep work.
Yes, we are. We really are. We are. We are. So I have 2 more questions for you.
Please.
So one of them is, with your book, what are you hoping, because everybody's going to take something different, right? What are you hoping that other humans, not because I was going to say creatives, but it's anybody, I hope everybody reads this book. So other humans get from your book and your vulnerability that you share?
I hope, or is my intention, that people who are on the cusp of change or a pivot, people who are on the precipice, and that creative possibility is ringing nonstop, that it doesn't let it go to voicemail. That they feel sort of a hand on their back, not pushing them, but just a nice, when you feel that comforting hand on your back to know that like you're not alone in it. I'm also here in the air.
Right. Yes.
I still haven't landed. I think that's nice. I'd rather be in the air anyway. But anywho, I'm right. We're here in it together. And you have everything you need, and you can trust that.
Yeah.
And your creative expansion requires the jump into whatever it is that's asking to be born next from you.
Yeah.
And that's what I would love the book to do, at least to feel like your leap of faith companion into your next creative evolution.
Ooh, I love that. I love that. Yes. And what would be your nugget of wisdom, right? Or words of advice to artists and creatives, those who, choose to use their art and their creativity, right, within capitalism, right? Because I always say, the reality is we also need these green coupons, right? Just are we not done yet? Are we not done cutting down trees and using paper? Are we not done yet? We're not. So the reality is we need these green coupons. So what would be your word of advice with, artists also pivoting? We still have to, right? There's been strikes. There's been shutdowns. There's been so many things for those of us who are still, because I know I'm stubborn, so I'm also going to speak for myself. Those who are stubborn is no, I'm still going to be a creative somehow, right? What would be your word of advice to them, and also just pivoting and being the creative director of your life?
Wow. Well, it's going to sound similar to what we've spoken about, but it's kind of choosing freedom. It's showing up. We got to show up, right? We got to show up to the work, got to show up to our art, got to show up for ourselves.
Yes.
It's not going to happen while we're sitting on the couch, getting orange fingers, eating Cheetos, watching a Netflix series. Nothing wrong with Netflix, but you know what I mean?
Right. Yes.
So we got to show up.
Yeah.
So you show up for yourself. You show up for your work. Show up for your art.
Yeah.
And then you see what unfolds. You see what comes your way. You trust. And I know that might sound very abstract or sure, what maybe I do. I have worked a lot, so I did have a cushion before I jumped. Full disclosure, I didn't. I had something, but that's dwindling. But I want to be free, so I choose to sometimes lean back instead of lean forward when I feel scared or vulnerable, or where's that next paycheck going to come through? I lean back, and there was something a tarot card reader once told me that really stayed with me, and I'm just going to share.
Yeah.
She said, I'm going to give you, it was a new moon, and she's like, I'm going to give you an affirmation for the new moon.
Okay.
And it was I, Pia Leichter, asked the universe to allow me to recognize opportunities to do what I love. And I added, and become wildly successful, deeply fulfilled, and stinking filthy rich as a result, right? I added that because I'm healing money wounds. That, of course I can be rich.
Yes.
Make a really good living in order for me to create even more impact, in order for me to be more generous, in order for me also to feel and live the pleasures of life and allow myself to do that. Because I come from don't buy this if it's not on sale background,
Ooh.
right? So I'm teaching myself, I'm trying to rewire that too.
Right.
My husband really helps. He's very, very good at spending money.
Yes. Yes.
It's like, whoa, how do you do that? And you know what he said when I asked him, like, how do you do that when you don't have savings?
Right.
It's like, I trust it's always gonna come back. And you know what? It comes back for him. It
comes back. Yeah.
So, so for me, it's like when we embrace trust, when we show up, then we're living free.
Yeah.
And that's how I want to live. Oh yeah. So sorry. I go back. The allow me to recognize. So the allow me to recognize opportunity hit me like a truck in the back of my head, because I was like, oh, that means the opportunities are already here.
Yeah. Ooh.
Oh.
Ooh. Yes.
Right?
Yes. I felt that.
I felt that too. That means there's nothing I need to do.
Right.
Or push to try to chase or to create these opportunities. Also what we're steeped in.
Yep.
Right?
Correct.
It's already here. And the last time I got like a little nervous about money, I was like, oh, and then I remembered, recognize the opportunities. Where are the opportunities that I might not be seeing? I'm not gonna lie, I forgot to invoice a client. and I was like, okay, well, it's right there. And so I think that's just been a fascinating play for me, an experiment. Yeah. Because opportunities, recognizing means that the opportunity might not present itself in the outfit you think it should.
Yeah, correct.
Right? Yes. Maybe you think it's going to be wearing head to toe, dashing Tom Ford kind of look. And there might be, more of a Lady Gaga outfit to your left. Yep. And you might not recognize it because you think it's only going to look like this.
Ooh, yes.
Right? And so to lean back and go, well, allow me to recognize the opportunities, because I might not be recognizing. Maybe they're here, but I don't recognize them. It was a big shift for me. Yeah. And so for me, I'm just running my own surrender experiment. Shout out to Michael Singer and his book. But it's like just surrendering to life and showing up and doing the work and following what's calling me. Recognizing opportunities, leaning into trust. Yeah. And seeing what happens. And so far, I'm okay. Yeah. And I'm going to run that experiment for the rest of my life. Right. That's what I want to do. That's my intention. Yes. That's my intention, because I feel free. And I feel like I'm in co-creation with life. Yeah. Rather than trying to hang on to, it's like, there's this story I heard once, and I'll keep it short, but there's a story that I heard about, life is like a current, like a river. Yes. And we have there are these rocks scattered throughout the river, and a lot of us are hanging on to the rock, feeling the current underneath us, like lapping, afraid to let go because we don't know where the current will take us. Ooh. And even though the rock is cold and it's slimy, we know what it feels like. We know what it is. Yeah. So we hang on because we know it, even though our hands are getting all red and crackly, and and we feel the current, but we're hanging on because we know. And it's scary to let go and see where the current takes you. I want to let go and see where the current takes me. And it's okay every once in a again. I'm gonna hang on to a rock on my way down. That's all right. That's okay. I'm learning. Yeah. Speaking of nervous system, to feel safe. Yes. In releasing. And that's okay. I'll stumble. I'll grab on. Right. Sometimes it might feel too much. I might hear the rush of water and be like, "Ooh!" Or I'll have to go to the bathroom.
Yes, right. Yes.
But and so I don't know if that's advice. I don't know if that's helpful. That's just kind of what I'm practicing. Yeah. And it feels like that's how I want to be in relationship with life, because I've tried the alternative. Right. Being afraid, saying, what if I don't make it? Oh, well, then I'm going to take this job I don't really want to do because it will at least get me money. And I'm not saying survival is real.
No, it is very real.
And I've been there. So sometimes we got, got to do the thing. But whenever possible, when it's not, when we know we'll survive if we don't take it, but it would feel like the rock if we take it, right? Yeah, yes. And then choosing not to, and choosing to trust, and choosing to show up fully for what's calling you.
Yeah.
that's my practice. I don't know if that's helpful for anyone out there, but that's what it's not like a one concrete thing.
No.
But that's my practice. And so far I feel very alive. I'll say that.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Oh, I love that so much. Yes. Pia, thank you so much for sharing. Thank you. Thank you
so much for your energy.
Of course.
For you
of course.
and for having me here.
Thank you. Oh, yes. Before I let you go, please tell everybody where they can find you out here on the interwebs, any contact information, where they can purchase your book, all of the above.
All right. Book is on Amazon. Also on bookshop.org for those who want an alternative to Amazon.
Yeah.
And my website, collective.studio.
Okay.
Is a really good place to find out more about me and my work, and want to have a chemistry call, want to meet up. We can do that from there. And LinkedIn and the Gram are, I guess, my two spots. And Substack, which I'm really enjoying, by the way. I've just made a move to experiment there. It feels like a very creative space.
Okay.
Really, it's exciting, and it used to be kind of just pegged for writers, but they're moving into video and different things. So it's a fun place to hang out. So I'm enjoying dipping my toes in those waters. Yes,
I love it. Give me the title of the book one more time.
Welcome to the Creative Club.
Thank you.
Make
Welcome
life your biggest art project.
Well, I love it. Yes. Don't worry. I will put all of those links in the show notes, everybody, so it's easily clickable. And Pia, I must say to you that I acknowledge you, I celebrate you, and I uplift you.
Received and returned.
Thank you.
So holding it all, and just want to say that so grateful for your energy and how you're showing up and what you're creating and how you're helping others create and how you're sharing stories that provide the evidence that artist pivot is possible and exciting and thrilling and will take you places you might never have imagined, but you just need the courage and faith to take that first jump.
Yes. Oh, thank you. I received that and I appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you for having me on.
And coming up on the next episode of the Artist Pivot podcast.
Hi, I'm Satori Shakur, and I'm on the Artist Pivot podcast. So what I remember was not giving up in my mind and actually manifesting the possibility. And so I can tell a lot of things like that. I wanted to be a singer, and so I would listen to, what was his name? He lived in Canada. It'll come to me at 3:00 in the morning. But I would listen to his live albums so that I could hear the audience applaud. And I would spend hours imagining that I was the person on stage singing.
This show is hosted and produced by me, Ayana Major Bay. Show editor is Kieran Niement. Show theme song lyrics written by Ayana Major Bay and Melissa Victor. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share this show with your friends.